What's up, former party people? This is Jerry, you know, the one who actually combs his hair on the A is for Alcoholic podcast. Now, if you're finding value in listening to the AIFA podcast every week and you want to support sharing it with others, we invite you to become a sustaining monthly or per show contributor. Go to patreon.com/AIFA. It's super easy and it only takes a quick moment. It's about as easy as buying one of those pre-cooked space chickens from the grocery store, taking it outside, giving it a big old kiss, and kicking it into traffic. Why would you do that? Anyway, you do you, and I'll do me. Again, go to patreon.com/AIFA. And with that, people, let's start the show.
A is for Alcoholic is a program about recovery. My name is John, and I'm an alcoholic.
And my name is Jerry, and I'm an alcoholic.
Join us as we go through the alphabet of alcoholism, one letter at a time.
Man, I'm telling you right now, my mom would be disappointed in me.
Why?
Because I'm sick in my lungs a little bit, you know, I've been bringing some stuff up, and I'm still vaping. And she's like, don't vape, it's 100 times worse than cigarettes.
Why don't you
It'll kill you.
Put some like Theraflu or put some Dayquil in the vape?
I'm like, yo, it's menthol, Mom. Don't sweat it. It's like Vicks. But I'm not vaping like crazy. She's like, you need to cut it down. Because I told her my cholesterol levels were a little elevated. I got my blood test back.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
all, it's because you're vaping. I'm like, it's not.
What is
okay,
it?
maybe
What is
it
it?
is.
What is it because of?
Just life?
Just
I don't
life?
know, man. The lady said you need to go on a high fiber, low saturated fat diet. My overall number is 175. Overall cholesterol, right? And my mom was like, that's fucking excellent. She's like, you're killing it. But then the lady from the clinic's like, well, it's a little bit elevated for a guy your age. She's like, you need to work out more. And I was like, bitch, I work out 5 fucking days a week for like an hour. I'm not doing more than that. You're not getting... So, I don't know. Maybe more lean chicken. I don't really fuck with beef.
You don't fuck with beef? You're not...
A little bit. I mean, I will. I've been known.
What about
But I don't...
Okay. Your mom gave me this great recipe for beans, by the way. I haven't tried it out yet, but I don't know why. I mean, she must have heard me on one of the podcasts asking for a recipe for beans, and then she hit me up on Instagram.
This is M for Mom's Beans.
Yes. So
That's like an insult. Like, yo, your mom's beans are great, bitch.
It does sound like it. Yo, what's up with your mom's beans?
They're delicious, motherfucker.
Your mom gave me her bean recipe the other day.
What you know? Them beans you grew up eating, I'm making them.
Like, ooh, these beans taste better than mom's. They are your mom's beans.
Crying.
So we are A's for Alcoholic. If you didn't already know, you probably know because you're here. You found us out.
You looked us up. Yeah.
You looked us up. You clicked on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to introduce the program sometimes, Jerry, because people hear, like, it's not like they just tuned in, because that's not how people listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
anymore.
but most podcasts I listen to, they just go, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. Or they have like a little intro.
But I wonder if
then
that's
they
just...
might say their thing. They introduce themselves.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's just like, maybe I'm thinking too meta on this. Like if that's
Probably,
an old throw over from like old broadcasting, or
I think so. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Jerry.
We're just so used to it.
Yeah.
But everybody
I'm
knows.
Jerry. I'm an alcoholic.
My name's John, and I'm an alcoholic.
Boom. Here we
together,
go. You have it so memorized, and together we form two
Captain
fucking alcoholics.
Drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Irresponsible.
I have it so memorized.
The way you say it, my name is John and I'm an alcoholic.
And I'm an
I say, hi, my name is Jerry and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. And then I always like would chew, like I still do it. I chew on my lip. I catch every time I say it in a meeting, I'll say, my name is Jerry and I'm an alcoholic. And I like chew on my lip. I've been doing it the whole time. I realized I just do it. I don't know. Now I just do. Maybe I do it intentionally.
Well, yeah, or maybe unconsciously you don't want to say it out loud, or it's part of
my
it.
brain's like, don't fucking tell them. Mm-hmm. Now you're responsible.
Right? Exactly. Because there's this level of this desire to be irresponsible as an alcoholic.
Right.
This desire to fucking just let everything go and not deal with anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've always in active alcoholism, I've always preferred to just not do the thing. or not do any of the things.
Well, yeah, it was irresponsible and what's the other word? That unreliable. Was always words to unreliable. I think was always used to describe me. He's very unreliable, very irresponsible. Kid doesn't follow through. So when I'm like, "Hi, I'm Jerry, and I'm an alcoholic," in a room full of people, I honestly, subconsciously think my teeth are like, "Shut your fucking mouth, dude!" Because now you got to keep showing up, and if you keep showing up, they're gonna make you do things. You don't want to do things.
Yeah, but because then if you do things, then you have to do more things, and
right.
And
even though doing things is good for everybody and myself, but
right.
then that part of my brain is like, nope.
I just again, as much as it's like there's maybe certain things I should be doing, and maybe going through the steps another time, and getting another sponsor, and doing all that stuff. I was talking to my therapist, and I told her that my sponsor moved away, and she said, "Did you ever properly mourn your sponsor, leaving?" And I was like, "No, not really." And she's like, "That might actually be a problem. That might be something that is holding you back from other stuff." And I don't know. I mean, so even all those things aside, obviously I'm here right now, and I accepting the level of commitment, and accepting my level of involvement. I have to accept it, because I can't push myself, because I've tried and I don't, and I'm so full of resistance. And I think, you're probably the same way with that.
I'm exactly the same way. I'm absolutely 100% the same way. Yeah.
So it leads into what we'd like to talk about, I think, today is...
Look at that fucking segue, dude. You got a face for broadcasting, dude. Jesus.
Is easy. Taking it easy. Easy does it. Which was...
Easier
was that
said than done.
Was that his second album? Easy Does It?
Easy Does It? Yeah, I think that was his solo album.
The solo album?
Yeah, when he wasn't with NWA. Well, he was still with NWA, but he had a solo album was Easy. Or it might have just been a single. I could look it up, but...
Well...
I wasn't big on gangster rap, but you can watch the Hip Hop Evolution documentary series.
Is that
Netflix.
awesome?
It's fucking excellent.
I haven't watched it.
I've been sick as hell for the past few days, and it's been my constant, like every song that plays, I'm like, I love this song. I look at Megan, I'm like, this is the fucking banger. And she's like, I know, I was with you when you were dressing like this, dude.
I was just talking to somebody about it, about when hip hop started, and and how it was very much party music, and then there was a lot of it. Some of it got political and was uplift yourself, and then the gangster rap came in. But they were talking about this brief period where it was kind of bohemian, and that's when I think that people talk about the early '90s hip hop, and the stuff that people really love is the Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and Jungle Brothers.
Native Tongues. Yeah, Native Tongues. Yeah.
And who's the other one? The Blowout. Black Sheep, Blowout Comb.
And Diggable Planets. Yeah, but I don't think they were Native Tongues though. They were just Diggable Planets.
Diggable Planets, and PM Dawn was on the tail end of that. What people might call that golden era of hip hop, and that bohemian kind of. There was a lot of positivity, but it was still very much. I don't know. I mean, who am I to talk about it? But that's when people talk about that golden age, and I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the show, so I don't know anything.
It's part
about
of it,
but...
and they talk about that a lot. I mean, because Tribe and De La are really important to hip hop during that period of time. Right. That was the late '80s, early '90s. Mm-hmm. It's about the time gangster rap came in too, though. That was just happening simultaneously on the West Coast. It's just what is going to appeal to an angry teenager more, I fuck bitches and I'm going to shoot your fucking face, or hey brother, peace and love, and fucking, you know what I'm saying?
That was one of the other
Afrocentric and shit.
That was one of the other ones that the guy was talking to. Yeah, he was saying that it was all the producers that said, "Hey, this is what will sell records, so we should promote this, and we should give people money to do this," and then kind of swerved it in the wrong direction, or a direction.
Right. But I mean, I believe that type of rap still to this day has its own legitimacy. They did absolutely deserve their voice. Who am I to say they don't? I'm just some lower class Hispanic guy from the border. What am I gonna say to some, you know what I mean, black teen growing up in Los Angeles in the early '80s and '90s? That's a whole different reality than I know. So I can't be I don't agree. All I can say is I don't fuck with your music because it makes me feel bad.
Mm-hmm. And you just have a different perspective.
Yeah,
and that's fine. and it's
Yeah, it's
completely fucking valid. It's just So no, I haven't seen the show, but I probably
C is for
should.
Jerry gets canceled. Yeah. Yeah, right.
I think so. Easy. I think Easy does it, or the one that I liked, just the word easy, but that you said was it's easy. You just have to stop drinking.
Right.
And I've heard this phrase before too, when I was in early sobriety, was that it's like, or somebody said it's easy, you just have to change your entire life.
Yeah, exactly. It's the hardest, easiest thing you've ever done, or the easiest, hardest thing I've ever done.
And I think that there's that level of resistance is still, what are those old ideas or old ideals that availed us nothing? Yeah. And it's still, I think there's still remnants of it. And then I've kind of found this comfortable place of, I don't want to say mediocre sobriety, because I feel really happy about it and I feel really positive. And I know there's other shit that I need to dig up out of my psyche and soul and all of that stuff. But again, I feel like I'll get there, and nobody's rushing me. Nobody's asking me to do anything more than I'm already doing. But
right.
It's there's always that sort of like that uncomfortable itch that maybe there's something else I should be doing, and that I should, because I hear it from people who dive right in, and people who are really excited and want to help people. And I mean, I don't know if you ever hear these people and be like, man, like it never occurs to you like I would like to do more, or I feel like I should, or
yeah, oh, absolutely. I would use those people as like a device on which to judge myself. Like they were my litmus, right? So then I would judge how well I was doing, and I've always felt like I wasn't doing well enough. But then I also have to really sit down and realize that like this is my personality. Even when I was drinking, I was not a go-lucky kind of like enthusiastic person, and just because I've taken alcoholism out of my life doesn't make me an enthusiastic person. It just makes me without booze, you know? So I don't know. Like I was really hard on myself for a long time. I still kind of am to this day, that I'm not like all in the mix and fucking rah in the program, or getting out there and mixing it up, you know? I always go to meetings and sit in the back and I'm quiet, because I'd rather take in what they're saying than say anything, you know? And then they're always like, well, if you don't talk, an alcoholic could die. And I'm like, for real, dude? Like, ew. But yeah, it's just my personality. Before I got sober, I was never, unless I was really drunk and then I was really loud and real mean and angry. But nah, man, I was never been like, let's put a bunch of vodka and Powerade bottles and go to the beach, you know, or whatever. And
no,
I was never that excited either. I was just like, let's just sit in this room and smoke and drink until we fucking laugh at something. And then, I don't know.
Which is funny, because I think I was a little more excited about those things.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. Well, you were definitely the cruise director, and that was one of the insults thrown at you. Was, yes. What's up, cruise director Julie? Were you going to just take us everywhere? Because
I'd always want to like have some event or some party, or I'd know this place, or we should go do this thing. And I think that was, you know, I think I wanted more. I wanted a little adventure with my booze, maybe.
Yeah. I wanted the adventure as long as someone else was providing it, because I didn't want to do the work for it.
Right.
So,
right.
And I think maybe even in recovery, I'm like, I don't know. I think this stems back to what we have talked about previously on this podcast, is I feel really responsible for other people's recovery sometimes, and it worries me. You know, like I worry about other people. And so I don't want to I should be the most important first and foremost, and then I worry about the other drunks in the room, you know? At least that's what they tell me, right? I think we all worry about each other collectively. Who knows, you know? Yes,
I do. I think that it should be, I mean, you can call it selfish, or you can call it self-serving, or you can call it self-surviving. I mean, because
right.
when I did that interview with Mishka, he was the one, he said, I made no, like, I don't remember exactly how he put it, but he said, I was not out to like help anybody. I was only out to save my own fucking life. Like I was just so scared. And I really related to that too, because I was not in any shape or way to go and try and help somebody, or I didn't feel like I'm going to turn my life around and be an inspiration.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I never thought that either. That's why that's always those... once again, like when we talk about the Instagram influencers and stuff, I try to let it be, but it does always feel super ingenuous to me that I'm like, did you get into this just for the numbers and the likes and making money off of it? Or did you get in this because you're saving your own ass, you know?
Well,
I don't know, you know?
I think...
And also, that comment itself is kind of weird for me to say out loud because it's not a fully formed thought yet. You know?
Well, no, I have the same feelings, man. Like, I'm gonna put this disclaimer out and say that, like, Jerry and I did not get together and we didn't outline this conversation, and so a lot of these things we don't outline any of these we don't outline any of them, but we have maybe...
I don't even know. I'm running 100-degree fever. It's low grade, but this is the tail end of some wild shit.
Right? So
I barely know where I'm at.
So exactly. So I guess what I want to say is that take everything with a grain of salt, do your own research, and you know, come to your own conclusions, because I know what you mean about it being disingenuous on social media when people are doing things, and I see it a lot now too with people who are, and I don't want to discourage anyone, man, but it feels weird to me when somebody who is big, who is overweight, is saying, here I am on my weight loss journey. Because maybe this is something that they feel like will help them if they have other people who are accountable. But maybe I'm seeing it wrong, and I would love to. Right. I am happy to be wrong and be like, no, this is a good thing. It's a positive thing for somebody who's getting sober and feels really good about it and wants to share it with the world, right?
Right.
But you know, and what do we always say in the meetings? The newcomer's the most important person. So why shouldn't we want to talk to this person? I think there's a certain level of self-promotion that you and I both feel bothered with. Maybe. Right.
It feels fake. It just feels fake. It feels like just an angle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want like the things I like to be used against me to advertise to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that bumps me out. But if you're genuinely fucking stoked to be sober and you fucking drink this crazy weight losing shake and hang out on the beach in the thong, then God bless you. I'm not going to follow your ass, and I'm going to be like, that's some fake shit. But if it's real to you, it's real to you.
Yeah. And with that, I'd like to tell you about our sponsor of today's show.
Thongs on the beach. Yeah. Right? Because I always think of like the yoga lady, but it goes the whole gauntlet. There's always the cool, super ripped guy with dreads who does yoga, whoever it is. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't even have to be whatever it is. I mean, I don't even want to throw looks into it or shame anybody for their bodies, because it's a really weird road to walk down here, because I try really hard to not just say this one single thing is the problem, or this is what's wrong with you, is you're being sexually open with your body. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. I like people's bodies. They're rad. Good for you. You got a nice body. But don't be like, I don't know, man. I just using the recovery community and people who are like really vulnerable, and then throwing that advertising at them is so fucked up, you know? Mm-hmm. But, this country they don't really push for that kind of shit. They're trying to figure it out. And I don't think they've figured it out yet.
No,
they haven't.
There's still a huge. We're in the midst of. It feels like we're in the middle. I mean, we're always in the middle of transition, but it feels like there's a lot of clashing that's going on.
Right, but think about the amount of stigma that surrounded somebody who openly outed themselves as an alcoholic even 30 years ago, as opposed to now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there was even in 1990, if you came out. Like you sold cars, 30 years ago. You came out and you sold cars in 1990, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I don't drink anymore." People are gonna look at you and be like, "That guy is unreliable. He could just fall off the wagon any moment." You could be sober for years and they'll still be like, "That guy, we don't trust that guy because he's got fucking addiction problems." Whereas if you do it now, I guarantee you, like, most people you do it to are going to be like, oh, yeah, so is my brother. So is my uncle. So is someone I'm close to. Do you know what I mean? Because people have become more open. It's become, I think, societally more open. I just think structurally and systematically, they just don't know how to deal with that yet. With addiction and even how you focus on the mental illness aspect. You focus on the substance aspect. Like, it's complex, dude.
It is very complex. And
I'm not going to figure it out. I'm dumb as fuck.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. You've read a book or two.
It was the big book, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
It was a big book and a book of Mad Libs. That's a dad. That's a fucking dad joke right there. Dude, dusting off them dad jokes. So gross. I'm sorry.
Maybe there should be like a big book of Mad Libs where you kind of
you just need to get a soundboard editor in here. So when I do that, you just do a foghorn. Wah, wah.
I'm sure I've got.
Don't you dare do recovery Mad Libs. That's horrible. I'll stop talking to you.
You can subscribe and get them sent to your house every month.
Dude, this is what you do. Are you guys offering running videos, customized running videos?
I'll make one for you.
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I thought you just, like, some dude's like, I'm so stoked to be running. Will you follow me around and film me for the day running and then use some royalty-free music? That's what I thought I had heard you say.
That's what I
custom running videos, and I was like, I don't know if anybody. Hey, they might.
I don't know if anybody wants it, but I don't know if it's that. I mean, I like doing it for myself, and I was just like, hey, maybe somebody else would, and so I was like, yeah, here's a custom running video.
I cannot fault you for trying. You try.
It's a very niche market, but
yeah, yeah, John.
So, but if somebody wanted one, I could make one, and then mostly I think I'm just trying to get a job with like Nike or Adidas or Reebok or
yeah.
And then
I was talking to a good friend of mine the other night, gave me a ride home, and he's really physically active. He's a runner. He lifts weights and stuff.
Does he want me to make a video?
No, but he was talking about shoes and how Nikes don't fit you correctly, and that
no.
I should look up this book. I should buy this book called The Art of Running or something like that.
Born to Run?
The name of it. Born to Run.
It's fucking great, and you'll love it.
And he was saying how, like, the shoes we wear, Nike has fucked it all up because we're not supposed to be landing on our heels or something. And then I was like, yeah, my friend John's really into it. I think he's read that book, and he wears these Merrell shoes, and he goes, those are the ones you want to get if you're going to run. And I'm like, fuck.
Those are the ones.
Because I wear Nikes. But anyway, we're going way off the path.
That's next week. We're going to talk all about that.
All about running in shoes. Y'all will love it.
Get excited.
You want some recovery? Fuck you.
Recover your body.
Your shoes.
Recover your fitness. Recover your.
I'll still be running a fever.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not. Man.
No, you'll be fine. You're gonna break that fever tonight.
I broke it. I think this morning. It just came back a little bit tonight.
So I think what I would like this. I think the central theme of this conversation is not only easy does it as in to be gentle with yourself in early recovery. And to give yourself space and time, and this shit doesn't happen overnight. And another one of the analogies I've heard is like, it's like, have you ever seen an oil tanker turn around? I mean, maybe you have, maybe you haven't.
Right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So the point is that it takes a very long time. These are very huge things, and you have to change the trajectory of your life, and it's going to take it's incremental. I had a terrible day the other day, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up and I felt overwhelmed, and I felt like I didn't have enough money in the bank, and I had all these projects and all these things that I have created for myself. I don't want to do any of them. Everybody's relying on me for something else, and nobody wants to fucking show up on time, and everything blah blah blah. And nobody, the only people who want to hire me to do shit I don't want to do. And nobody else cares, and those people who care aren't hiring. And I was like, fucking just
Nike ain't calling.
Fucking Nike. I mean, I prefer to work for Merrell.
Merrell ain't calling.
Exactly.
Nike ain't calling.
But
fuck, Asics ain't even calling.
Asics, fucking
British Knights. Was British Knights a ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go.
So I was really just like in the fucking funk, and I was stacking it, and then I was like, "Oh, don't stack it, John." And I was like, I was stacking the fact that I shouldn't be stacking all my miserable points, and at no point did I like feel like just give yourself a fucking minute and go breathe and go somewhere, and I think in some ways, like, I forgot the things that I'm supposed to do to counteract those bad feelings. Like, I got so into it, and I went over to my girlfriend's house, and we made dinner, and we hung out, and we watched Jeopardy, which is great on Netflix. Like, that's my favorite, and I feel really sad. I feel like
Are you serious? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we watch Jeopardy while we eat, You know, if we're gonna.
I love that it's your favorite. That's very sweet.
Well,
I was gonna clown you, and then I realized Alex Trebek is dying, and I felt like an asshole. And I was like, oh. And I grew up watching that shit
Right.
too. But go ahead, yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes like if we're gonna eat and watch TV, like it depends. If we're gonna eat at the table, we'll eat at the table. But if we're like, yeah, you want to watch something, but you know, for her, she doesn't want to watch anything that might be like too graphic or gory.
The
and,
first
like,
48.
Yeah,
The first 48.
basically
No forensic files.
No, we were watching that show where it's like the fucking weird creeper stalker killer dude.
I was like, nah.
It's
Anyway,
fine.
go ahead.
It was
Yeah.
fine, but
Yeah.
but I just had this, and it was we had a good night together, and then I went back home because I had to get up in the morning, and it was a myriad of things. It was the fact that I didn't get enough sleep. It was the fact that I've been trying to work on my morning routine and like not wake up and fuck around on my phone for like the first 30 minutes because it makes me feel so bad if that's how I spent the first 30 minutes of my day. Like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed if I don't have to, because I don't work until 4 p.m. So my mornings are kind of my own schedule.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to kind of wake up and be like, I'm just going to check in on Instagram and fucking TikTok for like 30 minutes in bed. Like, what the
I'm going to go tag Jerry in cat videos.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
yeah. I'm going to tag Jerry and Walter in cat videos.
So it
all
feels
morning.
so, and of course, right, we laugh about it and it makes me
Right.
feel shitty, and it's a terrible way to start my morning. So I'm like, okay, so like, what did I do this morning? I get up, I don't do that. I go get some water and I put on the coffee pot and I pull the notebook out and I do, like, the weights are right next to my bed. So I do those things that make me feel better about the 30 minutes right after I get up out of bed.
Okay.
And I wasn't doing those the last couple of days. I had been slowly staying up later, sleeping in. All the bad things had been accumulating and I was just so fucking miserable. Which is, I had nothing from the outside. There's nothing to be miserable about. I mean, people might look at your life from the outside and be like, oh man, he goes to work. He's got a house. He's got a wife. He's a kid. Like,
right.
It all looks pretty good. And it is, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's great.
but
It'll do.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is that the world, your life on the outside and your life on the inside can be two very different things.
Right. It's like when they told me, well, why are you going to AA? Why did you even quit drinking? You didn't seem that bad to me, and didn't realize I was going home and thinking about putting a gun in my mouth,
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also have to realize that these things that you slipped on in the morning that you were so angry about making your shit fuck stack, it's kind of the opposite of you taking it easy, right? Because you got to kind of take it easy on yourself, too, and be like, all right, I fucked up. I got out of routine. I just got to get back into routine again and get it rolling, Because I do the same thing. Like, I really get mad at myself, right? I'll, like, get out of my routine, and it, like, fucks my day up when I'm not in my routine. Then I get really up. I internalize it, and I'm like, I'm out of my routine. I don't feel good today because I didn't do those things that I normally do that make me feel better.
Yeah.
And now I'm an asshole. Why am I such an asshole? Why am I letting myself down? Or I'll blame other people, which is even better, But
Nice.
Usually I have to turn it back on myself and then realize, like, okay, it's not the last day of your life, hopefully, so you'll be all right. And if it is the last day of your life, who fucking cares? It's the last day of your life, dude. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there'll be an opportunity to be able to reset tomorrow. So let us reset tomorrow, And if you don't reset tomorrow, that's fine. There's an opportunity to reset tomorrow after that. It's just like sometimes I was more forgiving of the guy in the room who I would see keep relapsing than I was of myself. Do you know what I'm saying? And not that that guy doesn't deserve my forgiveness or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I was treating these complete strangers with internal empathy more than I was, you know what I mean? To more internal empathy than I was treating myself to any type of empathy, or kindness, So I had to, like, but even now I still don't do it. I might could sit here and talk some shit right now and be like, yeah, I'm on top of it. But no, I get mad at myself all the time. Constantly mad at myself. But what do you do?
I don't know.
Take it easy. You take it easy.
You take it easy. And I'm really, like, wanting to find that I want to be able to, like, self-love, right? Love yourself. I love myself. And I want to mean it, and I want to say it and mean it, more than I do, and, like, try to find whatever it is that's getting in the way of that, which I think a lot of it is voices from other people, voices that have been put in my
Right.
head from childhood, whether it's, I've talked about my dad before, but I mean, it could be any number of voices. It could be kids, other kids and teachers and parents and
Right.
siblings and stuff like that. And realizing that the shit that's going on inside my head is not real, and then going, oh, what if I looked at my life objectively? And, oh, okay, so nothing's wrong, right? There's like, nothing is actually wrong, John.
Right.
And that is, I think, the first step to me being able to be like, I love you, which
Right.
even feels silly to say. It shouldn't feel.
Right. You're just like saying it
I
in the
don't-
mirror with your nose pressed
I love
against
you.
it, fogging the mirror up.
I love you. And maybe
if you-
it shouldn't feel silly. It should feel good.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just funny and you do
Mm-hmm.
it anyway, make yourself laugh and realize that you love that you're funny.
Mm-hmm.
You make yourself laugh. But the thing about it though is I can relate to that, and I realize also that like it's hard for me to start liking myself again because I fucking hated myself for so long.
Yeah.
So it's like learning a new thing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like I can't. If I hated another person for so long and then I forgave them and I have to like learn how to love them again. Do you know what I mean? But I still keep seeing all the things that reminded me of what I didn't like about them. I have to like overcome that. The same with myself, But then every day I see myself do something new and I'm like, all right, dude, hey, you did not say that thing that was in your brain, or you did not lash out and try to hurt someone because you were upset. You just like let it go. Good job, dude. You get good boy points. You get some
Yeah.
chicken tendies. Go get some chicken tendies for dinner.
I haven't had chicken tendies. That's what's giving you that cholesterol, dude. You got to be careful with those.
Oh, I don't really eat the chicken tendies. They're
Okay.
metaphorical.
Metaphorical chicken tendies.
Yeah, for the good boy points. Where I get a Mountain Dew. I get to play Halo all night on Saturday.
Nice. Is that what you're playing now?
No, nah.
No,
I'm not
you-
playing anything really right now.
Is that a squeaky toy or is that your chair?
That's my dog outside. Just wrecking a squeaky bone. Because he's like sleeping all day and he's like, oh, it's podcast time. It's
Right?
fucking
Exactly.
get wild in
This
here,
is
yeah.
5 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Probably fight the cat right outside the door too. We'll see what happens.
You should be recording that. You can get TikTok famous, Jerry, with those
Right?
animals.
The dog fighting the cat? You probably.
I was just thinking when you were talking about loving yourself and trying to, and that you had hated yourself for so long, and so those were the thoughts and the ideas and the voices in your head. There's really this thing of personality dysmorphia.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my phrase that pays this
Did you
episode.
wait? Did you make that up? Or
I
did
just
you
made
read
it
that?
up.
Oh, you made it up.
Yeah.
I thought you read that, and I was agreeing with you because I was like, I believe you. There probably is. You
I
just
don't
made
know
that
if it's.
shit
I
up.
mean,
You fooled me.
I just made it up. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like there's probably another more accurate term for that.
For personality dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Probably, but it's very accurate. It's it follows along the same lines as body dysmorphia or gender dysmorphia, or you know what I mean, feeling completely opposite of how you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And knowing that, like how
your
people
perception of yourself. Yeah,
how people see me is not how I see myself, right?
Right.
And having to be kind to myself when I've been so mean and so nasty for so many years, and just that whole like, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna feel like shit, I'm gonna feel ashamed of drinking and feeling like shit, and all the behaviors that came with it, and it's just fucking down the goddamn drain so quickly.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about some other stories that I heard. There was one, and the guy was talking about how he'd relapsed after many, many, many years, and he was right back into it after a week. And
Right.
that seems so crazy to me. But I've heard this story multiple times. And
We've both heard it. I'm sure a lot of our listeners have heard it. And
so how do you fucking walk the line of being vigilant and easy does it? Like, what is the
Whew. It's a good question.
like what is the line you walk? I mean, is it like a seesaw where sometimes I have to be one and then sometimes I have to be the other, or is it like I'm weighing out scales and I have to put a little pinch here and a little pinch there, and is it balance, or is it I don't know.
Is it cognitive dissonance? Is it two separate ideas at once?
Probably.
I don't know, man. You know, the first thing that came to my mind was like knowing what I'm capable of, but forgiving myself for being capable of those things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just always being aware of what I'm capable of, but also understanding that like I'm not a fucking horrible human being because I am capable of those things, you know?
Right.
But I kind of am sometimes.
Well, you were.
Well, I was.
You
Well,
were.
Yeah. I'm not now.
Your behaviors.
I'm an irritable human being now. My behaviors, thank you. Yeah, that's a better way.
Right.
I was trying for some levity up in here. I was trying to go with the squeaky dog toy back there.
I know. He's moved on. He's taken it somewhere else.
Yeah. He's probably eating a sock or a pair of expensive underwear.
Who's got the expensive underwear over there?
My wife,
oh,
dude.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not me.
Not you?
Mine just have like little hot dogs, ketchup bottles, and shit on them. I'm ready to party. All my underwear has food on it.
Not like real food, like printed.
Not real food. No, remember I take my clothes off to eat because I spill food
right.
everywhere.
So
I just eat with a towel on my lap.
Or just cut a hole in a beach towel and you just put it over you?
Over my head. Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
Don't steal that. That's ours. That's
dinner
ours.
Poncho.
Just says A is for alcoholic on it. We're selling that in the merch store on Patreon. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
So I don't know. For me, it seems like a seesaw these days, and it seems like
Right.
I push and I push and I push, and I make sure that I'm diligent about all the things, and then I do too much of that, and then I go and I say fuck it, and then I say fuck it multiple times, and then, and I'm trying to develop other habits, and I'm trying to be better at all of the things, and so I try it like tiny little, like the tiniest little bit. So if like say I'm trying to do this yoga thing and I'm trying to like stretch, and like some days I'll just put the yoga mat out and I won't get to it right away, or I'll do like half a session with Adrian, you know, like
she's tough, dude.
I know there was a couple,
tough.
there was one I had to stop. I was like 7 minutes into it and I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Was it the body core one? Anyway, we'll talk about this later. But yeah, dude, I've done some with her where I've gotten mad. But yeah.
Right? You're not supposed to get mad.
No.
So it's like finding these little steps along the way, because I want to come back to it. And there's, you know, what do they say? Like whether it's exercise or recovery or what is the thing that you'll do consistently every day? So what aspect of recovery will I do consistently every day? Well, I journal now, so I do that. You know, I go to my meeting weekly. I talk with you weekly. You know, I consider this part of a meeting, or you know, kind of like a meeting and kind of like part of my recovery, because it's helpful, and I hear things from you that I wouldn't otherwise, and I think things during these, you know, sessions that I wouldn't otherwise.
Same here.
So I mean, it's a I'm trying to find small ways to keep developing habits, and I think that I get too impatient and I get too bothered too quickly, and I don't take it easy, and then I get into this other spiral of guilt and shame because I'm not recovering good enough.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Like, what the fuck is that?
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm not recovering good enough, Jerry.
Right.
And so...
Right. Not going to 4 meetings a day. What the fuck? I'm such a piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was going to get some almond milk, and I went down the, because it's at the end of the liquor aisle, and I just had this sort of, it was last night actually, and I was just had all these kind of like, not memories, but more like feelings, and I wasn't interested in drinking any of them, but it was just like, oh yeah, you know.
Oh, like reminiscing with ex-girlfriends? Is that a bunch of exes? Yeah.
Kind of. And it was just like, and I should be, I am grateful that I can do that now, that doesn't scare me or bother me or make me feel like I'm gonna fucking kill myself with alcohol.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have even bought, I mean, at the last time I remember, it would be like getting a fucking handle of Stoli or Tito's or something cheap and clear that I didn't have to taste. Like, I couldn't even imagine, like, I know that you drank whiskey and fucking it would have just been too much and too sweet and too sickly for me near the end. And
yeah,
you
but I know
loved
what you mean. I did.
And I just wanted that fucking like clean gasoline burn.
See,
of
and that
cheap
to me,
vodka.
I could never. And then I remember when I was drinking, I was getting really mean off of whiskey near the end. I was getting like really mean, and I was like, I probably told this story. I was like, I'm gonna switch because we all switch at least once, right? I imagine we all switch once. And my brother-in-law worked at a liquor store, and he goes, "Oh, you should switch to vodka." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna switch to vodka." And so I went in and bought a handle of HRD. Which is like the cheapest fucking bottom shelf, like rubbing alcohol antiseptic vodka.
Cheapest
and
in
drank
Oregon.
the handle like in probably 3 days, maybe 2 days. I think 2.5, 3 days I drank the handle and was like just as fucking mean. And I was like, God damn, vodka makes me meaner. But it didn't. It was just booze. But the whole time it tastes like antiseptic death. Like, even whiskey to me, the smell of it reminds me of like fire, like just bad shit. It just burns everything. It just sets your whole life on fire, you know.
I got a little taste of it, not an actual taste, but I should say a whiff of it the other day. Somebody was over the house, our mutual friend who still drinks, and he had a little whiskey in his glass, and he left the glasses in the sink, which is fine. I was like, I'll do the dishes, no big deal. There was only a couple of them, and I was washing out the glass, and it was like, whoo. And it was like something, this like Canadian Club or something like that. It was
woo, the good shit.
And it was just like, oh man, and
only the finest for 2 PM.
Basically,
no, it was around, whatever.
It was early. It was early.
Yeah.
And but I did not feel. It's funny because in the liquor in the grocery store in the Safeway, I felt reminiscent of the shiny, pretty bottles and the outside and the exterior of it, the packaging, right?
Right.
Going back to advertising, but when the whiskey glass was in the sink and I had to wash it out, and I was immediately just kind of like turned off, and so I'm pretty grateful that like that's my reaction these days. I don't get any sort of I think when I first quit. And I would be around it, you know, obviously because I was bartending at the time. I would get smells of it, and I was like, "Oh man, that smells good."
Oh really?
Oh man, yeah.
I have to admit, when my wife would drink, when my early recovery, she'd drink and I'd kiss her, and I liked it. I was like, "Oh, you smell like wine. Like you taste like wine. What's up, dog?" But I wouldn't drink though. I just would like tease my. That's fucking worse, I think sometimes. Yeah, because I would just. Like tease myself with it. Like,
did you ever? And I don't know if this is off topic or not, but whatever. Were you ever resentful toward her that she could drink? Did you ever feel that early on? Because I know she was obviously super supportive of your choice to not drink because of behaviors previous. But did you ever feel like being in a relationship with somebody who was like have a glass of wine, finish half of it, and then dump the rest out? Like. Did that ever come up, or?
No, not really. I only ever get resentful of her when she gets drunk, which is super rare.
Right.
Like once a year, maybe.
Right.
When I first got sober, man, I had sober like 10 days, and she got shit-housed because she was used to getting shit-housed with me all the time. Right. So she's still doing what we're doing, and we all went out, and we had someone watch the kids, and she got shit-housed, and I was fucking infuriated at her because I had 10 days under my belt. I didn't know where the fuck I was going. I was like, you fucking asshole. But other than that, like we went to a party recently and she got a little buzzed. She got a little drunk. And I was only annoyed because I had to drive and I didn't want to drive. And I was like, you're a dick, dude. I really don't want to drive. You obviously can't drive. She's like, I'm fine. I'm like, you're not fine, dude. I'm not as drunk as you think I am. I'm like, people who say they're not as drunk as you think they are super fucking drunk. Trust me, I'm an expert. Like, I own the company.
So you were like, you were more annoyed that you had to drive.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was happy that she was having a good time, and I was happy she felt good, and she was smiling and laughing and having a great time. I was just more like, fuck, really gonna make me drive out to Santa Clara? I hate driving out there. And then once I drove there and got Olive, I was fine. On the way back, we sang songs and laughed and stuff. But I was pretty cold to her on the way there. But no, I don't. I only resent it if she gets a little too lit up and I have to do something I don't want to do. That's it. And she only gets a little lit up maybe once, twice a year. You know what I mean? Like, dude, New Year's Eve, we don't go out. We stay here. You know, Christmas Eve, we don't. No, I guess Christmas Eve's not really a drinking holiday unless you're me, but you know, like all those drinking holidays, like we don't go anywhere. So.
Christmas Eve, it's just you with a bottle of whiskey. Go.
So then you get fucked up when you're putting together your kids' toys. You know. I'd be out there, just putting together like 3-year-old Olive's like little kitchenette, just drunk as shit, just putting together a kid's toy. The wheels are on backwards. Mm-hmm. She'd come out and be like, "Why is this tricycle ride backwards?" I'm like hung over. With a rag over my head, being like, "Don't worry about it, kid. Merry Christmas."
Merry Christmas.
Just fucking ethanol coming off of me. Yeah.
Well, that's.
But yeah, before that, it was alone Jerry in his apartment. Yes, singing crying the Charlie Brown Christmas song, trying to call a girl to be like, "Come have sex with me on Christmas Eve."
Come have sex with me on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and they'd be like,
so
"No,
lonely and full of whiskey."
Right. All my undershirts are yellow under the armpits. Like.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I guess I'd never asked that. I didn't think
It's
you were.
interesting, but she's always like and I know if she has gone out and partied, like she'll go out dancing every once in a while with some friends of ours, and I know she'll get drunk, or she'll get not drunk, but she'll get a really good buzz. And no, man, she's having a good time. I'm like, as long as you're sober enough to know where you're at and what you're doing, and don't do anything stupid, you're all good. Like. Don't make mistakes.
And she's never been one to shirk responsibility.
She was like that anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
She all right. But she is definitely like, I'll drink one glass of wine and leave that little tiny bit in the bottom, and then I'll have to wash it like you and be like, ugh, this is awful.
It was just funny.
There's nothing in it, right? So we were talking about that. We watched that Dr. Sleep movie. And the scene where, and no spoilers or whatever, but there's the scene where he goes to the Overlook and he meets up with the old boy, with the bartender, and he pours the drink, and it's the same bar that's lit up, which is a beautiful bar, by the way. It's like all lit up. But the way the light goes through the Jack Daniels and the glass and stuff, that to me is more appealing than the smell of it or the taste of it. I never liked Jack Daniels, but like the Jim Beam bottle, right? But now that I look at it, it's almost like getting a Christmas present you think is an Xbox One. You open it up, and it's just a bunch of cheese in an Xbox One box. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's never what you want. It's just the wrapping always makes it way better than you think it is, It's like the pretty fucking can on the White Claws, and I'm like, God, that's a pretty-ass can of White Claws. Like, what's inside of it is just fucking...
bullshit?
Yeah, just hell for my ass. Like...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am also reminded when you talk about the way the lights and the way, because there was a whole team of people who put together that scene where they're like the perfect color of this, and we're going to put this many cubes, and we're going to have this glassware, and we're going to have the light over here, and we're going to have the mahogany bar look this way, and like so you've got no less than a dozen people who are creating this image, and it reminds me of watching. This is like 98 or something like that, and we were watching some Brian Setzer video. And they're like walking through some sort of cocktail lounge bar, and it's all swinging and hip and cool, and in that 98 swinging style. And
so we thought it was cool as shit then, probably, right?
I'm sure I'll have to look it up and go watch it now. And I think at one point there's like a cocktail waitress with a tray of martinis, and she's kind of flipping them through the room on her tray, and some of it kind of spills, and it's a close up of like a martini spilling, and you looked at me like I was just staring at it, and you're like, it's pretty fucking sexy, huh? And like, I don't know if you were like busting my balls or being serious, like, because we were just sitting around in the afternoon,
both, dude.
right?
Yeah, it was both. It was absolutely both.
Like you caught me like eyeing this video, like I was ogling it or
both,
something.
Dude. Yeah.
And I don't know if you meant like the martini itself, or like the whole vibe, or like it was everything. And so
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
So funny, dude.
But I just remember you going, pretty sexy, huh? And I was like, yeah.
And then we probably went to Max's or something.
Went to some shit bar and drank the cheapest
probably
thing
went
we
to
could.
Max's. It's probably when you live behind Max's.
That place. Oh God, and that smell of like the wood floor and the septic tank and the everything. And I always used to think that it was cider because it smelled kind of sickly sweet. Like I was like, oh, that's probably just the apple cider. And I was like, that's fucking rotten barf and whiskey from
everywhere, just in the floorboards.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So I that's so many fucking nasty times.
Well, there's
alley.
We talk about that though. The meat, your eyes on that thing is there's a funny part in that movie, and that we'll probably end up doing a Patreon on this, but
Dr.
we
Sleep.
did want to bring this on Dr. Sleep, but there's a funny part in the movie that's also in the book where the dad offers them a drink. Like he's dealing with the father of the little girl, and the main character and his like sponsor who ends up becoming his best friend show up, and the dad goes, "Do you guys want a drink?" And in the movie they just both go, "No, we're okay." And it's such a fucking poignant moment to me because they both do the exact same, like, no, we're good. Like that AA, like, no, we're good. But in the book, they do the same thing. They say, no, we're good. But then Stephen King makes a note about how their eyes follow his drink the entire time he's holding it, though.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if all alcoholics have done that, but when I told my wife that, she said that to me, like, oh, their eyes followed the drink, huh? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how do you know that? And she's like, you've said that to me, and I've seen you do it in the past. Not as much now as you did, like, your first few years, but you would, like, follow a drink around the room. You know, like you know how you hold a piece of ham in front of a cat? You, like, move your hand around, and the cat, like, will... Or a dog, and you can make it nod and, like, spin its head.
It's that rum
That's how
ham.
I felt in early recovery, dude. Someone took a rum ham, just walked it across the room, like, hey, bitch, you know? And
So, you know, it's funny that you bring this up, and it's absolutely 100% true, and I think that more alcoholics probably do it than would admit, or maybe they don't. I don't know, but I think it's very accurate because I was hanging out with Rashida and we were watching something, and maybe we were watching that show we were watching something else. It was some drama or some shit. Uh-huh. And I didn't say anything out loud because I didn't think that it was interesting to her in the midst of, like, we're trying to follow some narrative. And I was just like, oh, there's Grey Goose. Oh, that's Sauza. And that's the Sauza Hornitos, which is a Reposado. And I'm thinking all this stuff in my head. And I'm like, oh, that's Jack Daniels. And I'm recognizing out of all of the stuff that's going on the screen, I'm looking at the little corner, the little side table in the corner of whatever this hotel room is. And I'm like recognizing the liquor bottles.
Right.
And I can tell you this too, now that you mention that in movies, and we should do this movie too, but the movie Flight. Mm-hmm. That's
a great movie.
I remember that scene, and we'll do this at the end, near the end, and it was fucking Grey Goose that he was getting hammered on. He was getting hammered on a lot of things, but I have this.
I think we should do that because that movie interests me. There's certain aspects of it that I'm like, really? Yes, okay, but you're all right. It is, you can tell it was Grey Goose.
I have this eye for it, and maybe again that's 15 years of bartending on top of it.
It could be, but it's also the fact you were very enthusiastic about your alcohol, you know. So
yes, I was. So, but it was just, it's funny that you say, like, my eyes follow it, and when other people are drinking around me, I think that I am aware of it, one, because I don't want to grab the wrong glass depending on the situation. Not that I would, and if it got close to my nose, I would probably put it down. But it's also just like, it's very apparent to me, and I'm very aware of it because I've trained to. And I'm like a fucking athlete with this shit, dude. I'm an alcoholic, you know.
Right.
Do you know?
Isn't that funny that in our lives now too, though, once we go to social events, we have to be very aware. Dude, I go to these school functions, and my wife, for the teachers, they throw Christmas parties, end of the year, summer parties. Mm-hmm. And they put out solo cups, and everybody's supposed to put their name on it. You know, I'll put my name on my red little solo cup, my purple cup, or whatever. But regardless of that, every time I pick up my cup, I smell it before I drink it. Every single fucking time now, because I don't want to accidentally get a little something.
It would be it would be such a fucking bummer.
Yeah. Because then I'm like, what? Well, I mean,
at the very least,
I'd have to be like, hey, I'm not relapsing today, but damn, really? Like, I gotta fucking deal with that? Like, fuck that noise. But I think those people that are non-alcoholics don't realize that, like, I gotta smell every fucking cup I pick up. Make sure I'm not... It'd be even worse if it were vodka. Then I'd just be like, well, I guess I'm fucking getting naked. Someone call the police now, because...
Call the police. I'm getting naked.
Right? Which I wouldn't. I would probably spit it out. I would most definitely spit it out and be like... fuck, I fucked up, you know?
It's you know, it's definitely, I'm very aware of it, and it's funny how my behavior has shifted toward things like when I'm at the restaurant and we're getting ready for service, and there was a new dessert, and it was some sort of special tiramisu cake. Tiramisu, if you don't know, has alcohol in it. I think it has like Grand Marnier or rum
or Grand Marnier, yeah,
brandy, some shit. It's got
brandy,
one of those.
Brandy and Grand Marnier.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So whenever something like that comes up, I'm always conscious, but it's the way that I say it. I'm like, and so the tiramisu, and that has alcohol in it, right? Just in case somebody's asking about that. Nobody else tends to ask that for two reasons. One, I don't want to ever be around I don't ever want the opportunity to take a bite of something and then, like, if it's there to taste, because that happened to me and it really fucked me up.
Yeah.
I was super raw and super new, so it was a little more intense. I don't think that it would be as bad this time around, but who knows? But it's just me of like, oh, I just want to make sure that my guests don't get any alcohol, blah blah blah. But in my mind, it's like, I just need to stay the fuck away from that cake.
Right,
know?
exactly. But this also rolls in with the easy does it. So I would say for both of us, if we accidentally fucking dig up the wrong truffle, it's all right. We made a mistake. Don't go digging under that tree anymore. That was an analogy I've been working on for a while.
I was gonna say, what do you? I think
don't go. That's a little folksy wisdom from my wife's office here in Eugene, Oregon.
Don't go under that tree again.
You might be digging up the wrong truffle.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, I wonder. Like at this juncture, I think that if I had a bite of something that had booze in it, or if I took a drink of something and I would probably spit it out. But I wouldn't be terribly devastated, but I would be very disappointed in myself for not being so diligent and watching out for things, just because I have to be careful because I can't handle my liquor.
I've had flan with cognac on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love flan though, so I just dab the cognac off with a napkin. My parents are recovering alcoholics. My mom makes spaghetti sauce with wine in it all the time.
Oh, does she?
So she's like, it cooks off.
Well,
I'm like, are you sure? She's like, well, I'm not drunk. Am I stupid? I'm like, no. She's at the house right now. Every time I impersonate her, she's at the house going, I don't talk like that. But yeah, she's just like, am I drunk? No, Mom.
No.
And it's good, but yeah, it cooks off.
So you've had it. You've had the wine sauce.
I've had the wine sauce and once had flan. I got it down here at the Chapalas with cognac on it and then took a bite and was like, oh, it's real cognac, and then dabbed it all off the top and then ate the rest. And then the next time I ordered flan from them, I said, can you not put cognac on it? And they said, sure, no problem. And I got it with no cognac on it. But that first time, I was like, come on now, dog.
Yeah.
You're supposed to light that shit on fire, dude.
Right. It burns off.
Yeah, but it didn't make me feel bad. Like, I knew what I was doing the whole time because I was like, I'm not eating this for the booze. I'm eating this because I really love flan, and I don't feel like a buzz from... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I don't know. But we all have different... But if I picked up a glass of vodka and tonic or whiskey and Coke and took a big old slug of it, it would, like, fuck my day up. It would, like, make me feel bad. Plus, I haven't had a drink in fucking 5 and change. Like, I would feel it. And be like, now I'm feeling this, dude. I don't want to feel this. I took a shot of NyQuil 2 nights ago because I was running such a bad fever I couldn't fall asleep and, like, woke up hungover from a shot of fucking NyQuil.
Yeah.
And I looked at Olive and I'm like, this has alcohol in it. She's like, don't drink it. Are you going to be sober if you drink that? And I'm like, yeah, I'll just be tired on NyQuil. I'm like, I'm not drinking this for the alcohol. If I wanted alcohol, I'd just go get alcohol.
Yeah.
But I don't want the alcohol. I want to be able to go to sleep and cough all this crap out.
Yeah.
It was a weird sleep, man. I was sleeping like acrobat, just rolling around.
Good stuff.
It was a real weird sleep, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it again. Yeah, next time I'm sick. I don't really want to take it unless I'm very sick because
it's fucking weird, right?
It is weird, man. It's not. It's a weird feeling. The dreams are really strange because I slept through it all, but the way when I woke up, I was like, oh man, I get it. I get it. I've been here. This is dumb. Yeah.
I think I think about the little sips and nips that I had in early recovery when I didn't intend to.
Like with the straws and
with
shit
the straw
like that,
taste, like and from the fucking pudding I had. And like I'm pretty grateful that I got to experience that now so that I know like what, cuz it's just that fire that comes up from my taste buds and then in my gut and then in my chest, and it's like just that whoosh, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow. It would hit me like a baseball bat to my head, and I could very easily see like drinking and blacking out. I mean, I've heard people talk about blacking out immediately. I mean, I don't know, but the possibility is there.
Right. Nah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
the fear is good there, though, right? Is that the line, knowing what you're capable of? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
And I'm not here talking about in moderation. Like, it's just a flan with a little bit of cognac. Although that is funny me saying that because that sounds like I'm like in denial. Like, Jerry shouldn't have eaten that flan 3 years ago.
Gonna have to change your date.
Number back, bitch. Yeah. You and your wife shouldn't have shared that flan that you dabbed all the.
You kissed those Chardonnay kisses. That counts too. Shit. You know.
Hi, I'm Jerry. I'm alcoholic. I'm a newcomer.
Which, yeah, man. I think that it's all this. Again, we're very quick to dismiss our accomplishments because of our alcoholic brains, and this
correct, right? Yeah, and even if one of us, God forbid, did relapse, it doesn't take away from the amount of time we had.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like you erase all that time. You just start over again. You've already learned a bunch of shit. Sometimes further research is required. I hope not.
I hope not.
It's just bad fucking research, and that research could end really badly. But
I think that's why it's important to read other people's research papers. And
correct, exactly, and listen to a podcast about some research.
Right. So I think
because John and I are done researching, but we can tell you what we learned out in the field.
God damn,
pooping your pants on the way to work is not fun.
No, not at all, man. This fucking just. Nope. Oh, what a fucking sad, fucked up, weird.
Waking up in the ER is not fun.
Oh man, I stayed out of the hospital.
Man, I had to go a couple times, but we'll save that for another podcast. Yeah. That'll be our cliffhanger there.
So
I got to ride an ambulance. That was pretty rad.
I think this is a good place to end it, and I just being easy on yourself, being easy does it. I need more of it. You know what I mean? Because I need to be better at just allowing things and not feeling bad about things and looking at things in a much broader scope. Because that's the other thing. It's so easy to focus in on like one shit behavior, and then I don't actually use all of the tools that are given to me. And I talked about this before, but like, oh, I had a bad 10 minutes, or I had a bad morning, and I'm going to let it ruin my whole day. Like,
right. And it literally is a bad, like 10, 15 minutes, and it'll, Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Like Taylor Swift says, shake it off, you know?
Shake it off, bitch. She definitely doesn't say bitch, but she's like, shake it off, Eskimo bro.
Eskimo bro.
Or whatever, I don't know.
Cool. All right.
All right, man.
I'm looking forward to next week's talk on food and fitness. Maybe we can get it out of our system and.
Oh, we really are doing that. Hell yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Got it. I thought you were joking. You gotta get it out of your system.
Thanks again for listening. Our music, as always, is by Neglect. You can find more of his stuff at neglect.bandcamp.com.
And you can find us on all social media platforms that matter: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can reach us at aisforalcoholic@gmail.com.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.